Spoiler alert, the following podcast includes discussions on film that may potentially, intentionally or inadvertently, reveal plot twists, character traits, story details, up to and including endings that might otherwise be considered spoilers. Proceed at your own risk.
You're listening to Moviesucktastic.
Don't put avocado on. There you go again. Now you're piling hummus on top of the burger too. What you looking at? Big mistake, bringing a flamethrower to a gunfight.
So when I heard, and I forget if you told me or not, that they were doing a remake.
I think I did. I think I did mention it.
If
I didn't,
concerned.
then I'm sure you knew about it. But yeah, I think I mentioned it, especially in the last week when I said, maybe we should do it for this week's show.
Yeah. Now, and they didn't come out and say it was never really advertised or shown as a remake of the classic because no one they pulled it after 2 weeks. Not a lot of people remember Silent Night of the Night. If they remember anything, they remember Part 2 and the Garbage Day quote.
Yeah, Garbage Day.
Right, which became synonymous with bad films. So the first film was overshadowed by the badness of the second one, which 50% of the second one is just them replaying clips from the first film.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so it's
pretty much
a sad thing indeed. So when you told me that, I was like, well, okay. There's not really a great track record these days with making classic horror films. My Valentine's Day, for example. Oh God. Just talk about a bad fucking horror film, remake or not, our decade.
Yep. Huge money. Made huge money though.
And that was a 3D film, and it was a January release. So what else was out there?
Right. Well, you got to remember, too, I think we talked about this in our 3D episode, which is like, God, I'm going to say like 70 episodes ago, somewhere in that range, where I basically said that because of My Bloody Valentine, it really got the 3D ball rolling for everyone to start releasing their movies in 3D because they saw that a shitty little horror film that came out in January was profitable. And they said, well, what if we try and make a good movie and release it in 3D, even if it's not intended to be?
I think that was one of the first widely advertised 3D films. Yeah. As far as like pushing the 3D. I mean, they had the people in the cinema, the fireball would shoot over their heads.
Right. I remember that trailer. It's like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, they were really pushing the 3D on that. And like you said, it just showed that the marketing of it would be successful, that people are just as stupid now as they were back when they did the 3D back in the 30s or 50s, and then again 50s, and then 50s. Again in the 70s. It comes around.
But it's cyclical, except this time now they're putting it in our fucking televisions.
All right, but anyway, before we get out the 3D rant, which is easily done.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, so I was concerned. I was like, okay. Again, not a great track record remaking horror films. Every now and then there was a good one. Black Christmas was not one of those.
Texas Chainsaw 3D comes out next month.
Oh,
January release.
Fucking God. Anyway. So we both watched this week, and I'm going to let Joey go first as far as what he felt about the film.
Well, I have to be honest. I've seen a hell of a lot worse remakes. For what it was worth, I thought I was going to really dislike this movie.
Or do you want me to go ahead?
No.
Let me go ahead. I felt the same way Joey did. I was going in. I was expecting not to like the film, especially when Joey told me after we talked about it. Said, "Oh, by the way, I've heard bad things." I said, "Oh, good. Let's dive in. Let's dive in feet first on this one." I gotta say, and I checked the time on the film.
What, the runtime?
Well, not the runtime, but there's a point in the film. The opening is cool. The opening is nice and dark. It sets the tone. It goes right into gear, and without doing any flashbacks or side flashes or anything. It's all linear, and which always impresses me to begin with. And it wasn't like a 20-year ago flashback either. It just starts current time. And I was kind of sold there. I was really sold, however, at the 14-minute mark with the sleazy priest.
If there's anything I can do. Now, very, very quickly.
I was dying because when he first comes up, you're like, okay, he looks a little creepy, and they just all right, we're just gonna smear creepy all over the screen now. And when he squeezes her shoulder, he just said, "Anything I can do for you." Anything. It's like, oh my god.
Now, to go back just a little bit, and I guess this isn't really imperative of whether you like the film or not, but when she's doing the crossword puzzle, how soon did you figure out what it was?
I didn't at all.
I figured it out like 5 seconds later.
I didn't because I don't know that rule that has to have that many sides.
Well, no, I knew what it was seconds later because in the next shot, it's staring at you in the face.
Is it? No, I didn't.
It's right in the background. It's like, oh, okay, that's what it is.
Honestly, I was distracted because it immediately came to my light. Like every time you ever see people doing crosswords in films. Yeah. And like I was thinking, if I ever got up in the morning, I did a crossword, and like death was like one of the answers, I think I'd just stay home. I mean, that's one of the things they always. It's like the beginning of the Superman reboot. Not the one coming out now, the last one, the
Bryan Singer one, 2006. I'm sorry, I'm staring at it's Rudy Giuliani in a fucking nun outfit. Holy fucking Christ! But holy shit!
It's like at the beginning of that shitty Superman film where the Scrabble board has alienation on it.
Oh right.
When the meteor hits or when Superman hits again, like they always use that in films, and if that happened in real life, if I'm doing a crossword, it's like vivisection, mother, Tuesday. I'm not making plans this week. This is so my mind went off on a spin, so I didn't notice what you were talking about. I can't help it sometimes. You throw something like that in a film, and immediately it's just going to start. But I really liked this film.
You did. I have to say, I did too. I thought I was going to go in and I was going to hate it. And I'm watching it, and I'm just saying to myself, yeah, there's a lot of things I could pick apart, but not more than say anything else. And it's like there's every intention that I should not like this movie, but I do.
All right, now I'm got a strong horror film background growing up. Mm-hmm. After a certain age, I wasn't, teenage years, big time, and so. When you're watching a horror film, just like if you're watching sci-fi or any, drama, romance, each genre has specific rules or specific formula that you're usually going to follow.
Right.
So you're going to have red herrings, and you're going to set up the different types of characters. That's all coming. You have to forgive the setup. And once you forgive the setup, which isn't a bad setup, but it's just, nothing unusual, the characters are interesting. I, for one, am immediately rooting for Santa Jim. The minute we meet Santa, I'm like, this. I don't know. Whatever happens to this film, please let this guy be one of the last men standing because this guy's awesome.
And let me tell you something. The other character that I enjoyed a lot was Malcolm McDowell.
Malcolm McDowell fucking rocks.
When he calls her, and. And he says, listen, Jordan, he hasn't come in. We don't know where the fuck he is. I need you to work Christmas Eve. And she's like, oh, this is really a bad time for me. This is my first year without John. And he's like, yeah, I'll see you in a few. Should I have found that I'm sorry. I'm laughing. And I'm like, this is my first year without John. And he's like, yeah, I'll see you when you get here. He's like, he's a total fucking prick.
A bit of a dick, yeah. And that's just...
And I love every time he's on screen and he's doing something, they have the Dirty Harry Western type music in the background. Dun 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 dun. And he's like, when he goes to the crime scene, and he's like, listen, you're not equipped for this. Let's just be honest right now. He goes, don't try any hero stuff. That's for me. And then dun 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 dun.
Great pulls and punches guy, and I honestly, my favorite part is when they're bringing in Santa Claus, is interviewing them, and they're in his office. He just like looks at the two and goes, "So, ho ho ho."
I gotta fucking leave.
You know, Malcolm McDowell, the great. If you like follow his career, and I love looking at actors. Like if you look at him in early in his career, he was playing really off of his charm and youth.
Right.
And as you watch him become an older actor and watch him play off of his age, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It truly is. I mean, and honestly, I think this was a nice role for him to make up for the kind of shit that got pulled on him in Halloween 2, which I'm the Rob Zombie Halloween 2.
Right.
His Loomis, which I wasn't really happy with the Loomis arc in the second one, just because he did such a great job in the first one. He just really kind of like fucked with his character in the second one.
Yeah,
not to put a lot of weight on a Rob Zombie film, but I mean,
I hear the Lords of Salem is supposed to be, for what it's worth, is supposed to be amazing. But that's just.
Oh no, I'm not saying he makes bad films. I'm just saying he makes a certain kind of movie.
Yes, he does.
Perfect. And for the Halloween reboot, it was like, well, it's got its strong points, but it's got its weak points. And anyway, yeah, Malcolm McDowell in anything. I think
Absolutely.
they need to get Malcolm McDowell. I think they need to get Malcolm McDowell and Roddy McDowell in more films together. That's what I feel.
Put the McDowells together.
Yeah.
See, that's your problem right there. You brought a
what?
You brought a flamethrower to a gunfight. Like what? or
what?
Best line in the movie came from him. Best line in the movie. Goes, don't put avocado on the burger. Keep it simple. Favorite line, my favorite line in the movie, anyway.
And this her too was like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
And then he's like, "Well, now you're putting. What did he say? Now you're putting horseradish and or coleslaw on the burger too now."
Oh, something. It wasn't that, but it was like something.
It was like something ridiculous.
Oh, damn! I can't remember.
Oh no, it was hummus. Now you're putting hummus on the burger.
Now you're putting hummus on the burger. What are you doing?
Don't put avocado on this burger. It's Carlson. 2 S's. My ass.
Double S. Double screwed. It's just like everything had to be a fucking.
And then the fucking music bed underneath is like, he's gonna wish he never came to my town.
Yeah. When they're using the camera from the one crime scene, and it's got like they were shooting like porn on it.
Right.
He's watching it. You want to fast forward, Chief? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. No, like I'm
getting a mental image in my head.
Yeah. It's a cheesy moment, you expect it, but Malcolm McDowell plays it perfectly. He just, professional.
Right.
Professional thespian. He's this. I honestly don't think these guys are wasted in films like this because I didn't think this film was bad. I thought the dialogue was okay. I was fine with it. For what it was worth. Now, as far as what it brings from the original film, it doesn't bring the same storyline, so to speak.
No.
It doesn't have the same structure because we start right off with the killings. We don't have the whole backstory explaining who it is. They pretty much keep who it is a mystery throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, that's the one thing I didn't like at the film at first because it's really just like, it's okay, it's the shape, but now he's wearing a Santa Claus mask. Or, instead of a hockey mask, it's a Santa Claus mask. It's a big guy running around killing people. It's faceless. It's really that same Halloween Jason Michael Myers feel. Now, what they do bring... Oh, I'm sorry, what?
No, I'm agreeing.
Now, the few things they do bring over, they bring over some of the killings. They bring over the antler scene. Now, I have to honestly say, it shows me the antler scene in this film, I think, is weak in comparison with the original antler scene.
Yeah, watching the original. Well, I mean, also it's Linnea Quigley's beautiful naked breasts as well. What was that?
What?
Linnea Quigley's workout? What? Episode 5, if you want to hear that one.
Yeah, Linnea Quigley's horror workout.
But yeah, no, you're right. But they also do other little things too. There's other little things that they had in the original film that they brought over. A couple of killings, a couple of sayings. They even brought over from the second film when the guy is bringing out the garbage. He goes, "What is this, garbage day?"
I was wondering if you caught that, because I remember when he did that. I was like, "You gotta be kidding me!" And that showed that somebody actually cared. They cared enough to throw that line in.
Right.
Just everybody. I wish I'd seen this in an audience, like in a theater. Mm-hmm. Just so I could have heard like the 5 people that went, "Ah!"
Well, I mean, even
you find those
right.
people after the films. Yeah.
Well, in the antler scene, if you like really dug deep in that scene, in the original scene, when Linnea Quigley tells, and this is in the 84 one, when Linnea Quigley tells her little sister that if she's not good, Santa isn't going to come tonight. And the boyfriend is like, "Yeah, that makes 2 of us." Well, in the remake, in the scene right before she was impaled by the antlers.
Oh God, yeah.
She's like, "I think Santa's going to come early this year." And it's like, well, it's the same thing.
Wait, I'm going to lighten Santa's sack. Her boyfriend, of course, is the Jason Mewes lookalike.
Yeah, right.
Who filled in for Billy in the scene
Right.
with the grandfather that snaps out of his catatonic and says, "Santa Claus is coming for you, boy."
If you see him, you better run. Whereas the original guy looked like Kenny Rogers. The guy in this one looked like the father from Raising Arizona.
Yeah,
It's just similarities. I don't know.
Where? Yeah, but again, they kept those images. Now, now if you go back to the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot,
Mm-hmm.
which
I haven't seen yet.
But I told you this in our review of it last time.
Mm-hmm.
They did this thing where they took all these iconic scenes from the original film and just copied them verbatim. The girl the body bag being dragged through the hall, the hand in the bathtub, every major iconic scene you remember from the original film, they just put in the new one. And it wasn't even like clever. It was just, okay, we're redoing this now. I would say this is
like why they didn't do another film. It's been over 2 years.
It's 2 steps away from the Psycho remake where, we're going to remake it frame for frame. Then why bother?
Right. And it's also the reason why they didn't do another Jason film. They did the reboot of the Jason franchise, and they were going to do the second film. It's been 4 years.
Yeah.
It just, nobody cares.
But
if you're not going to do it right, don't fucking do it.
Now, see, at least Rob Zombie, he put a spin on it, he changed it, and he kept elements, but he didn't just like, now here's the scene with the closet, and now here's the scene with this. He changed shit around, and he just kept, he took the tone, kept key elements, but didn't just like cut and paste certain scenes. And Silent Night does the same thing. You've got the catatonic guy with the kid, but it's not the same setup. The parents aren't there. The kid's a dick too. You've got the boyfriend and girlfriend scene there, but it's not the same kind of thing. The little girl's not in the same house. All they changed. The garbage day reference. What they did bring over, they didn't cut and paste. They folded it in and made it belong in the film. Nothing in the film doesn't belong in the film. And even when he gives the little girl something, instead of giving her a bloody knife, he gives her the candy cane covered in blood, which I thought was a nice touch.
Sure. And
it's still touching. It's like, you care.
You can actually eat that if you wash it.
Even if you don't, still edible. It's not.
Well, what about Santa's first kill in the new film with the little girl?
That
They
wasn't his
made
first kill. That wasn't his
Oh,
first
no.
kill.
Well, the first... Okay, let me reword that. His first kill since going into town, I guess.
Yeah, all right. His first kill on the road. Okay,
Right.
whatever.
With a little girl.
His third kill.
They make her so fucking hateable
Oh,
that you don't care that she
No.
gets killed.
But here's the beauty of it. When they're making her hateable, you're in on the jokes. Like, oh, okay, we're gonna kill the kid. All right, and they better kill the kid at this point because you don't set up this kid being
Right.
such an obnoxious little brat where you don't kill him.
I want to go to the mall. Honey, I thought we'd go to the church today. Fuck church. Get your wallet and your keys.
And
Meet
it's
me
so
in the fucking car.
It's just like the priest. It's so over the top. Like, all right, guys, we have a guy dressed as Santa Claus killing people. Subtlety's not the name of the game here.
Right.
So just like the priest, she's so over the top. There's no child like this in the world that hasn't been smothered, in their bed at age 7.
Right.
But when he and minor spoiler alert, if you really, it's just. But even then, something's coming. When he tasers her in the doorway,
Right.
it's
I
not
didn't
just
ask for that.
Yeah.
I didn't ask for that.
It's and she's shaking, and then and the foam's coming out of her mouth, and you're like, holy shit! And it's so brutal that even though you hate her, and as a horror film you want her to die, you're still like, Jesus Christ, man, that's brutal.
Fuck, a little therapy would have solved that one. You didn't have to fucking kill her.
Yeah. A couple
You've
of
been
spankings,
naughty.
lock her in a room for a week. I mean,
Now, this Santa Claus doesn't say anything until literally the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Now, I got to point something out that the film didn't go into, and I don't know if it's on purpose or not, but that happens like in the middle of the day, in the morning. That happens in the morning, right?
Yep.
The mother goes up to get her purse, he kills the kid, and then leaves. They don't get the call till that night.
Right. Yeah.
And mom was a nervous wreck, and she was taking pills beforehand, like her heart pills. So she's fucked up because because she's living with a little obnoxious evil child. And so, the entire scene, which is kind of cool. Again, like the mother, like, don't go in there. You can't unsee a thing like that. And I'm just thinking, what have you been doing for the past 10 hours? Sitting, and all I can think of is sitting in the chair, staring under that tree.
Right. It's just her and Jim Beam for 10 hours.
Yeah, and it's there's such for me it put a little spin on the film that really just made me like it that much more. Just like the one part where they say, oh yeah, he's that one guy which used to work at the mill. They were filming porn, and that guy's a coke dealer now. It's like, when does this town get so sleazy?
Oh right.
Yeah, it's almost the town is almost like the entire world, where it's like, yeah, things are a little sleazier than they used to be in the good old days. Things aren't as they should be, and the film just kind of throws those little things in there.
Right.
I mean, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but it's a film that made me want to read into it because I was enjoying it so much.
It's
like Santa Jim, I mean, when he starts his little rant against the holidays and parents and stuff, it's like, go Santa Jim, go.
When I said when I told you maybe we should do this, I heard it's terrible. I really intended all intentions of going in and not liking the movie.
Oh
really.
yeah,
and just every time, and I know when we review it on IMDb, because right now it's a 5. We're gonna review it. We're gonna review it much higher than that.
Yeah, rate it. We're reviewing it now.
Rate it. Yes.
Now I need to bring another thing up along that line of where
I
the
have
film's
these new headphones. I have these new headphones, and I don't like them. They're almost noise canceling, and it doesn't say that on the package, so I can't hear myself talk, and it's annoying me.
See, well, that's what I was talking about before when I said my earphones weren't working properly. Anyway, another thing they did that interested me the further I got in the film. Correct me if I'm wrong, but all we ever know about John is that
her husband.
John. Yeah. Well, did anybody ever say her husband? No one actually says her husband.
Now that you mention it, you're right.
There's one part where Santa Jim's like, how come you aren't baking cookies for your husband? And she goes kind of like, what the fuck did you say? But that's the end of that. They never,
right.
and the further along in the film we get, I'm like, who the fuck is John? Because they won't say anything. They're not giving us the exposition that you expect. We're like, well, 5 years, last year when John was killed on Christmas Eve, you're waiting for that Gremlins moment.
Right. I hate
and it
Christmas.
never comes. So I started getting to the point in the last half hour. I'm like, was John even her husband? Was it her child? Was it like the dog? Who the fuck was John? I mean, could it have been her brother? No one really says anything.
Well, maybe that's why Malcolm McDowell was just like, it was your fucking goldfish. Get the fuck over it.
There's actually a good portion of the film where I'm thinking, what if John's the Santa killer?
Oh, right.
I'm like, that would be cool. And here's the one problem I have with the film.
What's that?
If you're going to leave that whole storyline unexplained, which I liked, I thought it was a nice touch. You don't mention who John was. It doesn't matter. It has nothing. It pertains to nothing. All you need to know is it was important to her. It's fucked her up, and she's trying to get over it. And not having that explanation actually adds to it. But at the end of the film, spoiler alert, and I'm not going to give out the exact detail, but they actually reveal the story behind the Santa killer.
They do.
And that fucked up the film for me. Because first of all, it's a stupid origin.
Yeah.
Second of all, it feels like it's tacked on at the end, especially the way...
It really fucking does.
It does.
It really, especially the scene where they do the whole backstory of it, and then the next shot, that really felt like, we need to put something there. There's just too much. We just can't roll credits after this. Mm-hmm. And when they pan out, there's the three scenes: the ending, the backstory, and then the ending again. They pan out. It seems like they pan out for like a minute, and then they do the backstory.
I thought, that's the end.
Right, exactly. And I thought, credits are going to roll, and they're going to show. Okay, well, I don't want to give anything away, but I figured the same thing.
And what we're not giving away isn't worth giving away to begin with, so don't even fucking worry about it.
Right.
I mean, when you hit that panning away scene with the flame, you might as well turn the goddamn movie off. You just saw the best part of the film. The last 4 minutes is a complete waste. But again, I wonder if it was tagged on, because I can't believe that the screenwriters who went through and again, maybe in the editing they cut out the explanation of John. Maybe it's a happy mistake that worked out so much better than anybody thought. Maybe there was a scene where they explained, it's slowing down the film, take it out. And all of a sudden, we just don't know who John is anymore. And now I'm reading into it like it's a fucking Fellini film. But it's just like, we cut the scene because it was slow. What the fuck are you talking about? But it just adds so much more to it for me.
Right.
Along with the sleazy priest. I mean, the sleazy priest makes it for me. And that was the opening clip we played at the beginning. Internet pornography.
American Idol and internet pornography.
I
like the scene right before that where he's taking pictures of the girls. He's like, spread the joy.
He's taking pictures of the girl. He's stealing money from the poor box. He's hitting on the cop who lost loved one. I mean, maybe he does say again. If I missed the part where they said it was her husband,
right?
I might have, but I'm almost positive no one actually comes out and says that. But Sleazy Priest rocked.
Yeah.
I was almost sad to see him go.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I was sad to see Santa Jim go. It's like,
don't
come on.
Say that. That's a spoiler alert there, guys. Spoiler alert. I didn't think.
Oh.
Because I was hopeful that he would. The way he played him, I thought he was going to go through, and you just ruined that for anybody listening.
Listen, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
there's not a spoiler. It really.
It's a review. It's a review show. You know we're going to mess up and spoil something anyway. But shit, I feel guilty now.
What? Don't feel guilty.
I deserve coal.
How about when Malcolm McDowell gets coal and that's his gift? It's coal.
He's like, what the hell is this?
Coal? Nobody gives me coal.
Speaking of Santa Jim, I gotta say, I liked the film. Again, with Wood Chipper, I loved it. Sleazy Priest, you had me. The antler scene, but they tried. It was done better than it happened. They had me. Garbage bag line, they had me. The point where I actually said out loud, I love this fucking movie, is when Santa puts down the axe, pulls back the sleeve, and he's got the brass knuckles that say "ho ho ho." I was like, motherfucker! I am. This film is in my collection now forever. That was such a beautiful touch, and when that comes out of nowhere, it's like, yeah.
And when he's punching, you just hear just squishy and brain matter. It's like plop, 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 plop.
That doesn't even matter. I mean, he could have not even used it.
Well, no, I know that. I'm just saying the follow through was good too.
All around, this was a great horror film, and it's sad to see. I'm sad to see it that it's not doing well wherever, and I'm really sad to see people bombing. Now, ironically, I went through and I looked at some of the IMDb news group stuff on this because I like the giggle.
Right.
Sometimes you find someone in there that has an article, like somebody had something in there about the one of the guys that worked on the Rob Zombie Halloween films originally was supposed to write this film. And like, oh, this film was a piece of shit, and this treatment was 10 times better, but they shit-canned it, and now he's angry about it. He doesn't like this film. And I read the treatment, and it's like, yeah, it sounds boring. This film was better. This film had more going for it, I think. But I found a couple that really got angry about the whole. It's anti-Catholicism, and it's showing the priest in a bad light. So. We got Santa Claus with an axe. Why? How is the church out of bounds?
No, I know. It's
talk about the war on Christmas. I mean, so Santa can be a killer, but we can't. And again, everybody in this town kind of sucks. Every character we meet is just okay. Yeah, he needs an axe, quick. And the sleazy priest is so over the top. It's not even like an indictment on the church. It's just, yeah, this guy's just fucking creepy. He just happens to be wearing a collar. For all we know, he wandered into town 3 years ago. I was like, I'm a priest. Nobody knows. That's like even just him. I'd love to see the backstory out of him. Just came in the town looking for a job. It's like, well, you don't have a priest. Well, I'm a priest. Because I can do anything I want. I'm the harbinger of morality in this town.
They'll fucking believe me. Yeah. But it's already video on demand. I believe
it's worth it.
Blu-ray and DVD are out already. It went theatrical limited back on November 30th in the States. And I think you can still see it in theaters. You just have to know where to go.
Oh, and filmed in Canada, by the way.
Oh, really?
Filmed in Canada. Winnipeg. Oh, yeah.
There you go. They're not playing hockey there right now, so.
It's got the stench of Canada all over it.
And you know what? It's interesting you mentioned that because. All right. Do we want to rate this now?
Yeah, and let's go back and rate the original too.
Okay.
All right, the
original is rated a little higher on IMDb.
The original's at 5.7.
Okay.
I'm happy with this film at a 5.
The original?
It's got its production value weaknesses, and again, I like the film, but just because it has like a serious element to it that works doesn't mean it's the best written thing. So, it's iconic. I'm happy with a 5. A 6 might be pressing it, but I don't mind going to 6.
I would go 6 on Silent Night, Deadly Night, just because I do think, for what it's worth, the acting and the writing and just the way the story is told, I think it still holds up as a good 80s slasher film. There's a lot worse. Naughty. How about when he's first in the Santa Claus outfit and the girl's sitting on his lap and they pan in and he's like, you've been naughty, haven't you? It's like, what? You're a fucking creep. And she's like squirming in his lap, and it's very uncomfortable. It's like he's what's wrong with this guy? And it's like, and they pan over to the parents. He's so good with kids. He really knows how to talk to him. And then good old Ira in the back, he's like, yeah, he's pretty good. I'm glad I hired him.
Can't wait to get him liquored up later.
So I would give it a 6. I think it's worth a 6. Nothing higher.
Yeah. No, I agree. Just because it for what it is, it's like I Spit on Your Grave. I think it's an iconic film. I'm not going to give it higher than like a 5 or a 6,
No, I
just
agree.
because of production value, etc. Yay! But those are two examples of horror film remakes modern day that actually do keep the spirit and do, or even in some ways, improve upon the original, which I
Right.
think I Spit on Your Grave did, the remake. And so Silent Night falls in that same vein. I think it improved upon the original in a lot of aspects, and was managed to do a remake without copying the film or just modernizing it, like the Nightmare on Elm Street one, where instead of a Walkman, he's got an iPod. Ooh, yeah, great, wonderful. Yeah,
And the
where,
fucking micro naps.
if you're remaking a film and all you're doing is updating the technology in the film, yes, that's why they didn't do war games now, because it
Right.
lacks the impact. But Silent Night, like you said, 5.0 on the IMDb.
I say it needs to go to 6, like, when we start doing that, for Malcolm McDowell alone. So 1
I
point
think-
for Malcolm McDowell.
I think it needs to go to 7 for killing the kid in a brutal way. I don't think it deserves more than 7, mainly because the ending pissed me off.
Agreed.
And because if you're going to get anything higher than a 7 for a horror film, it's got to be a bit deeper than a basic slasher film, which is what this is, a basic slasher film.
Yeah. I mean, The
So-
Thing gets an 8 or a 9.
There you go.
And
you can get away with saying that's sci-fi, not horror, which is bullshit.
well, yeah, it's true too.
Well, look, they do that. Look at Alien. That's a horror film, right? No, it's
Yeah.
sci-fi. Why? Well, because we're going to give it an Oscar. Okay.
Oh, because it's in space. It's like, stop.
Well, again,
So is
you
Event
take a-
Horizon, but that's a horror film, right? When it's not reviewed well, it's a horror film.
right? If the critics don't like it, it's a horror film. If they do, it's a sci-fi film.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, anyway, that's a whole different subject. But I want to vote on 7. I think 7 stars is the perfect for Silent Night.
I think you're right. I like 7. I can agree with that.
Any film that makes me laugh as much as I did, and does so again, and when it wasn't really, they did it well. Dark humor was great in that. 7 it is.
There you
Clocking that in. Clocked in 7, and then I clocked in 6.5 for Silent Night, Deadly Night. All right,
go. All right.
we're good.
Excellent. We're good. Are we
Wanna-
done?
Yeah, I think we're done. No, I don't even want to talk about what's playing in the theaters right now. Jesus.
No.
But
No. You know what we'll do? We'll do our annual January episode for the January films.
I'm going to say next episode, January releases. We're going.
That's right.
We're going to next episode. We're going to cover all the January films coming out, and we're going to try to review as many as possible as they come out. So this is our Mardi Gras.
For us? Yeah, it sure is.
Well, because I always call the Oscars our Super Bowl. So this is kind of like our Mardi Gras. This is the what would you call shameful pleasures?
Guilty pleasures?
I'm thinking more shameful.
Shameful?
Yeah.
Yeah,
shame.
okay.
It's not just guilt; it's shame.
It's total shame.
But yeah, so next episode we're going to be covering what's coming up in January releases, and I'm sure we'll think of a film to review in the meantime as well as that. But for the most part, that's it.
That's it. All right.
Now, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, let's tell everyone how they can get in touch with us.
Stop. Cut the music.
What?
Cut the music. I was going to take a moment and just say from the heart that Joey and I and everybody else here at Moviesucktastic, which is pretty much Joey and I, do want to wish all of our listeners a happy holiday. And even though I myself am waging a war on Christmas, which I go into detail in the Strangers in a Strange Land podcast, we do wish you and your family a great holiday. Spend it with people you love. And hopefully you'll have us around listening to us in the meantime. And it's also been a great pleasure and honor to have yet another year just shooting a shit with Joey about bad movies and having you guys listening and occasionally chiming in too.
This is beautiful, man.
Isn't it? And usually I'm an asshole, so it's nice.
The feeling is mutual. I agree with everything Scott said. Absolutely. However you spend your holidays, just do it, in your own way. Have fun, and that's all that matters. Spend it with your family, your friends, your dog. It doesn't matter.
Well, a little less love for the dog. And also, I want to put out something to you that we don't make any money off Moviesucktastic. Obviously, this is a labor of love. Obviously,
I'm in a Batman T-shirt.
It's our gift to you, and if you feel generous and in the giving mood, we don't not like the other podcasts out there. We don't ask you to buy stuff. We don't ask you to donate. We don't ask you to subscribe. We put no money into the show. We just do it, and we have full-time jobs on top of it. So we're not asking you to support our show. This is what we do. If we didn't do it for you, we'd still be spending the time talking about bad movies anyway. It's just nice that you're there too.
That's absolutely true.
If you do want to return the favor, if you want to give a gift back to Moviesucktastic, do us a favor. Go to iTunes, rate us, and review us. Just let people know that you're grateful that we're here, and that's the best way you can say thanks to Joey and maybe thanks to Scott for just being entertaining every now and then. That's all.
I think we're a little more often than that, but I agree. I like it.
Yeah. So please, our gift to you is the show. If you feel in the giving mood, give us a good review on iTunes just so other people can find the show too. And I'm going to stop wasting time here and Joey can play the music again.
Sounds good to me. All right. Just like Scott said, you can go to iTunes. Please review us. In lieu of donating, reviews. We love those. You can download them all there. You can download them all at our website at moviesucktastic.com. You can listen to them live there. You can watch the live stream feed from there as well. You can leave us voicemail at 908-514-4470. You can leave us email at themovieguys@moviesucktastic.com. And we highly recommend doing both of those. So,
yep.
I don't know what we're reviewing next week. As far as we're going to do okay, never mind. We just said that. I do the show, and sometimes I'm not paying attention. Holy shit. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Hey, there is no Santa Claus. Bye. Well, there's not. I mean, I'm not like making it up.
Yeah, but all right. Maybe there might be a family, a father and a son. Albeit, I think it's rare. They may listen to the show together.
If there's a 7-year-old listening to this show, they're fucked as it is.
Santa Jim.
Yes.
All the praise Santa Jim. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We'll talk to you next week.